Welcome back, everyone, to the Punk Rock Horror Podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Cody.
And this is a show where the love of horror culture meets the love and inspiration of punk culture. And today, we're here to remind you to wait to buy Kingdom Hearts 3. Wait.
Yeah. Oh my god, when you texted me that, I was this close, so close to literally shitting myself because I was laughing so hard.
I knew it was going to be a letdown. I knew it wasn't going to be what we were hoping it for. I knew that, but I didn't know it was going to be as meh as it is.
Well, what's so funny about... Okay, so Kingdom Hearts 3 came out around the same time as Resident Evil 2.
Right.
Resident Evil 2 is getting all these fucking praises.
Yeah.
And then Kingdom Hearts, I noticed, like, within the first couple days, a lot of people were, like, saying, oh my god, it's the best game ever, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And a couple weeks after it came out, everyone was like, that it?
Yeah, that's their nostalgia goggles. Like, so, this is non-spoiler. This gives nothing away. So, there's no Final Fantasy characters in the game. There's maybe only 8 worlds. Which I think that's usually about how much there usually is.
Wow, but you would think, like...
Yeah. Well,
this long?
And it gets kind of worse. So, the cool worlds that are in there... So, I'll give away one of them. One of the worlds that are in there is the Monsters, Inc. world. Monstropolis. Yeah. So, but just in case. Because I don't know who's been keeping up with it or not. What is such a letdown is that it is a huge world, but it feels so empty. Because you maybe see one of like the hazmat monsters. I forget what they're called in the movie. Uh-huh. And then you get to team up with like Mike and Sully, but that's it. And like you see Boo and like Randall, but I mean, again, that's it. There's nothing else.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
Well, and so they try to like get away with saying why there is no one else and I can't give away the reason why, because it is kind of like taps into the story.
Well, they're all heartless or whatever.
No. It's I really can't give it away.
Because I know from the first one, the reason why you didn't have like the Lion King level and stuff like that was because like the heartless destroyed the world. Yeah,
no, it's not that. This is, I actually can't say why because it does give away a story element, but it is such a pissant excuse to not have extra characters. And like, I understand it's just like, well, Matt, it's been a long, it's they're trying to make the game accessible. I get that, but it's 13 years. Like, we didn't get on the PS2, we didn't get on the PS3 app, PS4, updated technology. There's no reason. And then here's the other biggest thing that really bugs me about it. No Halloween Town.
Wow.
None. There is no Halloween Town world. And they're more than likely going to do it as DLC.
More than likely.
But still, like, the graphics and detail, attention to detail is stunning. And the combat is solid to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just kind of a bummer, dude.
See, I'm glad I bought Resident Evil 2 instead.
Yeah, no, I feel like I had to buy it because I've been playing the series for a long time. Like, I've actually played Birth by Sleep 1, 2, 1.5, 2.5.
I know, you got so mad when they did the story so far, because that's the one I bought.
Yeah.
I just remember you're like, a fucking course! You're like, you know what? Just whatever. I just fuck it. If 3 isn't the next one, I don't even care anymore.
Well, and I want to kick the director in the nuts because he's just like, oh, we didn't include the Final Fantasy characters because we didn't feel the need for the story. Yet, they have the fucking Arendelle Frozen World, and they include both of the most popular songs from that movie. Full length in that world. I'm like, oh, so those songs were needed, but we couldn't get another Sephiroth fight to complete it? We couldn't see Cloud again? We couldn't see Squall or Leon again? Like, no. Fuck you.
No, it's because you got to let it go.
Like, but no, it's just, it's just a real shit on the fans. Like, it really is. Like, and it's, the thing is like, if you're not a fan, you're picking up for the first time, you're probably going to enjoy it for what it is, but if you're a fan, it's a letdown, especially after 2.
Just like Final Fantasy 15.
What was wrong with Final Fantasy 15?
So again, it took forever to come out.
Oh yeah, and then they had to actually like release DLC
to patch in the parts where like your teammates were gone or something like that.
Yeah,
because they didn't include that, and
like the essential parts that they should have included.
Yep, and then they're also there. And it's one of those games where it's like because they're like, it's a great game for fans and newcomers. And it's like, oh, so it's mostly for newcomers.
Yeah, they're trying to market.
No, fans and newcomers.
Yeah. Well, and you can tell that's where they're trying to go with the company. And I get it when you're trying to like increase your profits and get more customers, but don't shit on your current client base.
I was gonna say why don't you just like start a new IP? You know.
Well, and that's you fucking think they would do that, but you can even see that they're trying to do that with bringing Final Fantasy VII out and making that episodic and not making it just one solid game. Yeah. Like that's a real dick move.
Yeah.
Like I can get it with Hitman because that works for it.
Yeah, because like, you know, each level takes like 30 ways to beat.
Yeah.
So you could always just experiment, but like Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy 15, and Kingdom Hearts 3. Like Square Enix needs to get their shit together because I'm getting real fucking annoyed. Because I
know they still haven't even come out with that fucking Avengers game that they said they were gonna do like 4 years ago.
They teased it like hardcore, and they're like, we don't know.
Yeah, basically.
Like, then then
Insomniac was like, well, here's Spider-Man.
Yeah, and they fucking blew the roof off of the like building with that game. It was fucking amazing. And they still were able to come out with DLC that complemented it and still give you a full experience.
Yeah.
What the fuck is your problem, Square Enix? And director of Kingdom Hearts, listen to me. Stop being an asshole and include the shit that made the game great. Bring back the Coliseum fights, bring back Halloween Town, and give us our final Sephiroth fight. Because I beat both of them in both four versions. So 1, 2, 1.5, and 2.5. So don't dick me like this.
Well, aren't you, Mr. I'm so cool?
I was proud of it, okay? It was pointless. It has nothing to the world around us. But to me, it meant something.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so Koya, what's something you love it?
I was like, I'm just going to go back and play some Resident Evil 2. That game's fucking great.
I got to jump on that.
It's fantastic.
It looks fantastic.
It's good.
And you know what? They're offering free DLC. Square Enix.
I know. Just like Resident Evil 7, all the DLC's free.
Yeah, Square Enix.
It's because Capcom knows what's up after the entire debacle of Street Fighter V. They're like, you know what? Let's not pull an EA anymore.
We fucked up. Sorry, everyone. We fucked up.
Just like how EA was like, you know what? Let's not pull an Us again, and let's make it worse. And that's how you get Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah. So.
And they're like, how about everything's free for Battlefield 5? Battlefront 5. And then everyone...
No, it is Battlefield 5.
Yeah, Battlefield 5, and everyone's like, this is hot garbage. We know it's because everything's free. So because you took out all the microtransactions, the gameplay suffers. Yes. What?
Oh, man. Yeah, and I guess the last little tidbit of nerdy news is that what's his name? The head guy in PS4, not PS4, at Sony, said that they're basically going to keep with that model of like now focusing quality over quantity, and they're going to start releasing less games because they want to make sure they're actually bringing out good games.
Yeah, and that's fine with me because when you think about it, like last year, Sony didn't come out with that many games, but they were all fantastic.
Oh, but the games they came out with were talked about for months upon months upon months.
I mean, shit, God of War came out at the beginning of the year and won Game of the Year and Character of the Year.
Yeah, and then Marvel Spider-Man, obviously we just talked about. Mm-hmm. There was that, and then there was another one I just had on my head. It was just on top of my head. What the fuck was it? Either way, that's fine.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero. Well, no, that wasn't last year, but it goes with the whole idea that they are coming out.
Oh, was it?
No. That
was it wasn't.
I think that was 2015. I could be wrong, though.
2016, maybe?
Yeah, but still, like, even now I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and it still is a solid experience. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyways, let's jump into today. So, ghouls and gals, if you've been paying attention to our Twitter and Facebook feeds, you will know that we are talking about psychological horror today. But before we jump into it, we got our listener participation corner. We asked you guys flat out, we were talking about psychological horror movies, and we want to know what are some of your psychological horror movies that you have seen, that you loved and hated, or why. And we're going to jump into it. Cody, do you want to take it away?
Sure. So off of our Facebook, this is funny is that I almost did the movie that Katura said she liked. She said she absolutely loved Hush. The fact that it was a deaf woman defending herself against an unknown assailant with nobody around to help her made it addictive to watch. I was on the edge of my seat wondering what was going to happen next. And our buddy Nate, he said he wished he could like this post multiple times.
It's a solid movie.
Whatever, Nate's a suck up. Love you, Nate.
You got a little brown on your nose. But we're gonna wipe that off.
Yeah, brown noser. And then Mackenzie said she would count Hereditary as psychological horror because she needed a therapist after watching it.
Fair enough.
And then our buddy James, he said last shift. Matt would know why.
Last shift. Oh, yeah. So, oh, man, I love James. So, I don't remember. I think it was when me and him were actually living together. I think it was. And I was just, me and him decided to hang out. And we're watching random horror movies. And I put on Last Shift. And it was actually, because I don't want to talk too much about the movie. Because I actually do want to review it at some point. But, like, it's basically centers on this new recruit in a police station. And it gets fucking weird fucking fast. And, like, I turned to James and he's just like, I could hear him, like, breathing heavier and heavier. He's like, like, you okay there, bud? I'm right here with you. Everything's okay. And he's like, yep. I'm fine. Like,
dude, I love watching horror movies with James.
Oh, man.
Dude, okay, so, like, one of my favorite memories is when I was still dating the lump. Me, him, and her. She doesn't get a name. She's the lump.
Oh, God.
So her house flooded, and so her and her family were stationed up in a hotel for like a couple weeks. And so me, him, and her decided to just kind of hang out in the hotel room and watch movies. And James was like, have you guys seen Dead Silence yet? And I was like, no, I haven't watched it yet. And he's like, me neither, but I really want to watch it.
Right.
And I looked at him, I was like, James, are you sure you want to watch horror movies? Because, like, he'd never caught, like, this is when I really found out that he liked horror movies. Like, knew the guy for years, but, like, didn't know about that. It's just he doesn't, peg me as someone who would like horror movies.
Yeah.
And so the entire time we're watching it, every 5 to 10 seconds, I would look over at James and he's just, like, covering his eyes, like, woo! And, like, make a deep sigh, too, like, and then he would, like, peek through his hand, go back to the popcorn, and then do it again. Like, you alright there, buddy? He's like, fine.
Similar to your story, my favorite is when we were watching Case 39. It was me, you, James, and our buddy, and Harrison, our official, non-official mascot of the show, and our friend Alex. We were all watching it together, and I got really into it, and I was, like, watching it, and, like, Alex just, like, started slapping my arm, and I'm like, she just keeps laughing. I'm like, what? And she's like, look. And I look over, and it's just like the 3 monkeys, like that, like have their eyes covered, ears covered, and whatnot. But instead, it's like horror related. I turned over, and you're just like into it, full wide eyes. James, same thing that you just said, like eyes covered, and then Harrison just has like his arms, like he was buried in a casket. And he's just like,
especially that when like the little girl's like, no, and like had the deep demonic voice, like, oh my god, I just remember seeing James going, what the fuck?
Yeah, I remember looking over, and I almost busted laughing, because it was just like, all 3 of you were frozen in like different states of like terror and excitement. You being at the top end of excitement, and then like James being like right there of like terrified, and I'm just like, this is a good movie. So, anyways, on our Twitter...
We love you, James.
Yeah, we love you, James. So, on our Twitter, from Anonymous Crow, at Crow the Arkin, The Challenging, I just saw it yesterday. And then from William Schumpert, Black Swan and Eraserhead.
Eraserhead's a really good one.
And I'm not surprised by Black Swan either. That kind of gets brought up a lot as like a good psychological horror.
Yeah.
And then John F. Leonard actually did commented on to William Schumpert. John F. Leonard, at John F. Leonard, American Psycho, good film, but it was never a film for me, only a book. And I forgot to read William's tag, which is at Better Brains. Better Brains B. And then from Crash Palace, at Crash Palace, excuse me. Crash Palace.
I'm Sean Connery.
Sitting on the couch. Sorry. The strange color of your body's tears in 1981's Possession because of their intense, surreal plunges into emotional terror. And then from Art of the Crow at Art of the Crow, I want to say the Saw movies, even though I do agree that it is basically gore porn, what I like about it is that there is more than one antagonist, and they work together with well thought out murder machines that have built-in escape mechanisms if you can stay calm to find it. From Kevin the Punk at Kevin the Ghost. In the Mouth of Madness is an underrated Carpenter gem. Session 9 might be the overall best psych horror. Recently, I enjoyed the killing of sacred deer. However, some people hated it. And we got a lot on Twitter, so bear with me. Yeah, so Pistrix at Pistrix. It Follows had an interesting concept to it, but it just felt like something was missing for me. Not sure if Misery would be counted as horror, but Kathy Bates was phenomenal in the movie.
See, I would pick Misery over It Follows as a psychological one.
You wouldn't, or you would?
No, I would.
Yeah.
I would say Misery was definitely more of a psychological horror than It Follows.
Well, that's what he was saying. I think he was saying that it just felt like it was just something missing overall. Like he was missing like the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then, we did have Kevin the Punk also make another one saying that he thought Mother was a good masterpiece. And then Pistrix did make another comment basically agreeing with Saw, and but he also did exclude like Silence of the Lambs. But I just want to say they did add a few more on there. Excuse me, I'm trying not to burp until my blank. From Paul Miller.
You want to throw up there or something there, sir?
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
And then from Paul Miller at Paul Miller 1313. And I had this movie down, but he actually replied with a GIF. And so here's what I'm going to say. Listeners, head over to our Twitter, check it out, which it is, and see if you can name it, and then we'll shout you out on the podcast. Cody's looking at it right now, so I don't know if he can name it. Can you name it?
I don't think I've seen it.
Right. And then from the Mad Hatter at Barum Mark. Alien is still the scariest horror film ever made, even though most class it as a sci-fi movie. Forget about the setting, the content is horrifying. Deep, deep psychological fears literally burst out from the darkest recesses of the mind, particularly the male psyche. And then, finally...
The aliens are euphemisms for rape.
And then from 12nightsofhorror.com at 12 Nights of Horror. 12 Night Horror. Sorry. I try not to laugh. They suggested one of their favorites is Jacob's Ladder. So...
You know what? I think it's really funny that someone actually picked out your movie and no one picked out my movie.
That's why I'm excited for your review.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm excited for your review.
I'm really excited to do it.
And so, thank you to everyone who participated in our Listener Participation Corner. These conversations are still going on over at our Twitter and our Facebook, so even though if you haven't, put in your suggestion yet and you still want to be part of the conversation, please go over to our Twitter at officialprhp, join the conversation, or on our Facebook, punkrockhorrorpodcast. Just search it up in the search bar. So yeah, thank you again. And with that being said, let's jump into it. Let's jump into psychological horror and what there's this about it. So, psychological horror is a subgenre of horror and psychological fiction that relies on mental, emotional, and psychological states to frighten, disturb, or unsettle readers, viewers, or players. The subgenre frequently overlaps with the related subgenre of psychological thriller, and it often uses mystery elements and characters with unstable, unreliable, or disturbed psychological states to enhance the suspense, drama, action, and paranoia of the setting and plot, and to provide an overall unpleasant, unsettling, or distressing atmosphere.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun. Do you want to read the next part, or do you think we're good?
Actually, you know what? What's your favorite psychological horror, Matt? Because usually we try not to pick our own favorites to review.
Yeah, we try to find ones that
underground ones.
Yeah, so for me, I was thinking about it, and there's actually a lot more that I liked than I thought I actually liked.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of just hard for me to choose just one. But my cop-out well, it's probably going to be considered a cop-out, was actually Saw. I loved the first Saw movie.
The first one is great.
Yeah, well, because it literally really defines the characteristic of survival instincts and what the lengths you will go to survive.
Yeah.
And then it really kind of just, like, delved into this, like, theory of, like, do you really deserve to live? Like, with how bad you're living your life? Like, there's people who are suffering more than you and would love to have the advantages that you do, and yet you're wasting them away with adultery or smoking or, you know, just kind of like a lot of these broad concepts. And it's just a really interesting, like, question is, do you really feel like you're actually living your life to the fullest?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like really terrifying because, I mean, it's when you saw your own leg off for your family.
Yeah.
You know, it's just intense. I love that movie, and I'm glad to see it's, like, coming back slowly.
Yeah, because, like, the first one especially really holds up today.
Yeah, well, and throughout the trilogy, they have, like, some that are really
Saga.
good and some that just suck.
It's not a trilogy. It's a saga.
Saga, sorry. My apologies. It's a saga.
Flip the table.
Oh no, my beer.
Oh yeah, sorry for how my voice sounds. If it's gonna be fluctuating. I'm like getting over being like really, 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 really fucking sick.
Yeah, ghouls and gals. Cody's sick. He's surviving.
Barely.
Yeah, he's here. So I mean, he's here for you guys. So reach out to him on our Instagram.
What's your excuse?
Yeah, he's now challenging you to a fight. So he'll name the place. You guys better meet him there.
I'll cough on you.
Yeah. Just like bleed and bust and whatnot. But Cody, same question. What is your favorite psychological horror film?
So I was thinking about it a lot because, like, again, kind of same thing. Like, it's hard to remember that what is the psychological horror, because there's some things like that kind of like delve in the slasher territory more than like mental state.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I'd say with like through psychological horror, I'd definitely, at least right now, it would have to be A Quiet Place. And I would definitely argue that's a psychological horror more than a creature feature. Mostly because, like, the entire time,
right,
you're, like, freaking out about them being quiet. It's playing with your mind. Like, could you stay that quiet? Or would you be like the old guy and give up? Like,
yeah, just like you're at the end of your rope. Like, you don't want to keep surviving anymore. You're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, so, like, I would definitely have to say that. Quiet Place and probably Split.
Yeah, Split is solid.
Yeah.
I will say another one that I really enjoyed was The Uninvited. I did like that one, and I feel bad. I haven't seen
that one yet.
It's a good one, and I feel bad because I keep forgetting about it too. But I loved it a lot. Like, I liked it a lot because it was a lot. Because I thought it was going to be one of those like cut and dry, kind of like teen slasher flicks. Because that's how the trailer really comes off. But it's actually a lot better than that. And probably one of the more popular ones is not only just American Psycho and Silence of the Lambs, but also The Shining.
The Shining, yeah.
The Shining is straight up a psychological.
So, you know what's funny is, like, I respect The Shining, and I know it's good, but every time I watch it, I'm just so bored.
Well, it's such a slow burn of a movie.
It's not even that. And, like, it's so funny because, like, Harrison gets so fucking excited about that movie. And so, like, one night, me, him, and Deb were just sitting in the front room, and he was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's watch The Shining. And I'm sitting there like, fine.
Well, and I think it comes down to, what's his name? Can't believe I just had him on the top of my head who made The Shining.
Stanley Kubrick.
I think it comes down to, like, his filmmaking, because what was impressive is, although he had, like, an extreme attention to detail, one could argue unhealthy standards.
Yeah.
But you see that in the final edit of his movie.
Yeah.
Like, you see how it drags out there. I mean, because it's the same thing with, like, a Space Odyssey.
Yeah. And I was like, and don't get me wrong, like, you don't need to defend The Shining to me. Like, I respect that it's a good movie and that it's a classic and that Jack Nicholson was really good in it. But it's just, you know, if I had a choice between watching, like, that or something else.
Yeah.
More than likely I'm going to go with something else.
Well, and I think The Shining is just kind of like one of those movies that you plan to stand and watch, that you don't just throw on because it's on. Unless you're Harrison. But I think that it is the case because it's a long movie, and especially if you watch the extended cut.
I don't know. It's just like Shining's not in my top 5 of what I would watch.
Well,
like even psychological horror movies, like I would, like The Fly, I could watch that all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And like stuff like that,
but that's different in the more sense it's like body horror and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I would also say that I think like
Jeff Goldblum.
And Jeff Goldblum, obviously. Yeah. If it was Jeff Goldblum in The Shining, then yeah,
that'd be a totally different story.
But
here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny. It's me, Johnny, and it's here I am, right here. And when Mother Nature, and then like he talks about like chaos theory and whatnot.
Yeah, and he's just like, all right, start hacking people up there, Jeff.
Well, I'm gonna take this axe and I think I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
That was my best John Goldblum impersonation.
You even said the wrong name.
Jeff Goldblum, sorry. God. Jesus.
But yeah, no, I definitely have to say like Quiet Place is probably in my top 3 best psychologicals.
Well, to add in with the argument though, I would say like A Quiet Place is better at like keeping the pace going, where Shining is more of a, I will argue, more of an artistic psychological horror film. Because if you take away all the twisted shit that's happening as it's unfolding, there's a lot of like artistic like scenes being shot throughout the movie. Like you can see that it's like meant for film studies to a point. And so it's, I mean, and
it's also saying that Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landing.
Yeah, there's signs everywhere. Although I will say I do feel really bad for Shelley Duvall and what she went through.
Yeah,
for that movie
poor Shelley.
Yeah,
she went from playing olive oil to getting her mind totally raped.
Yeah, and it was just because he was a dick to her.
Yeah, he was.
He was a total dick to her. I'm like,
he wanted her in the correct mindset. The correct psyche.
But I mean, if you look at the interviews these days that she has talking about it, like it puts that movie in an entirely different light.
Oh yeah,
like it's bad. That's bad. Anyway, so when we're talking about the characteristics of psychological horror, do you want to take it away?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so our characteristics of psychological horror usually aims to create discomfort or dread by exposing common or universal psychological and environmental vulnerabilities / fears, and revealing the darker parts of the human psyche that most people may repress or deny. This idea is referred to in analytical psychology as the archetypal shadow characteristics: suspension, distrust, self-doubt, and paranoia of others, themselves, and the world. The genre sometimes seeks to challenge or confuse the audience's grasp of the narrative or plot by focusing on characters
God, make this character!
On characters, speaking of Stanley, on characters who are themselves...
It's not a true psychological thriller unless you got Stanley Kubrick, like, smushing your face with the TV.
Like, watch the movie! Yeah, Alright, Shelley. On characters who are themselves unsure of or doubting their own perceptions of reality or questioning their own sanity.
Duke.
Which I do think, to an extent, that's really... How do I want to say it? It is unnerving because you kind of get... Well, I mean, for us here in the States, I don't know if it's the same everywhere else, but we are kind of like raised in an environment of... You have to be polite, and you can't really show what's really going on the inside. And so when you're forced with that to show that not everyone is like a friendly neighbor, and that you should doubt your own reality and what you perceive as reality, that becomes extremely unsettling because it's like your entire world is shattering and puts you in this weird, vulnerable state. Mm-hmm. I mean, what do you think?
No, yeah, I definitely think that. Because what I notice... that's what I like about psychological horror movies, is that it actually, because we love our blood and gore and stuff, but when watching a psychological horror movie, it makes you feel, it takes you out of your element.
Yeah.
It makes you not only sympathize and empathize with the main character, but it kind of it definitely makes you think what the fuck would I do in this scenario?
Yeah.
You know, we could yell at the dumb blonde bitch who always goes left and trips over a stone in a slasher movie all we want. But like, why didn't you go right and not wear heels? You know, like any other sane person. But then in a psychological horror movie, one of the things that I like about them the most is that the protagonists are smart.
Yeah.
You know, like they think things through, but things still go wrong, and I think that's like where it kind of gets you.
Yeah,
that's what I like about it.
I guess from like a viewer perspective, it's like, right, I'm watching my hero here. All right, yeah, my hero was in through this traumatic accident, because usually they're in some sort of trauma or like mental disadvantage. And well, no, not mental disadvantage.
Emotional disadvantage.
Yeah, kind of like emotional disadvantage. You're like, all right, they have a plan to get through this. They're a strong character. Oh God, okay, that fell through. Okay, I know they're gonna stand back up on their feet. They're gonna be great, and it's gonna.
And they just lost both feet.
Oh, and they just lost both feet. Okay, thank God they have a phone. They can call someone, and there's no connection. Well, I just don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And then you find out it was in their head the entire time. Well, fuck me sideways.
Yes. See, like, whenever I get those movies, like, I always just, like, stand up and just, like, look at the TV. Fuck you! Like...
Oh, man. Where's that one horror movie that I want to watch all the way through and, like, give it a try, but the twist makes me really mad. It's this one about, like, this dad and his daughter, and they go to this house, like, for the weekend, I think, or they just move there. And, like, she starts seeing people, like, trying to, like, enter and break into her home. And, like, the dad doesn't believe her and whatnot. But, like, eventually they break in and, like, it's crazy. But you find out that she actually has a mental disorder. And she, like, I think she actually has schizophrenia. And she imagined it the entire time. And so I was like, so you're telling me from the dad's perspective, his daughter is just running around screaming and he's in the study with, like, a glass of whiskey. Like, it's another fucking day.
It's just another day. Take your meds.
Like,
now they're trying to get me, Daddy. Just take your meds and they won't touch you. Now they're gonna kill us.
Just like, this is why we had to move into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, this is why we had to move to where you wouldn't hurt yourself or try and choke the dog anymore. That's why I gotta get rid of the dog.
Because you try to cook the dog. But wherever, this isn't China. And actually, that's not a racist joke. So, can't call us out for that, because that shit still happens.
Yeah, it's racial.
It's not a racial joke.
No, it is a racial joke.
It's not. I'm not.
Racist is the derogatory term.
Oh.
Racial.
Got it.
Means it's true.
So.
Learn that in sociology.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. So
it's a racial joke.
We're not bad people, is basically what we're saying. Like, so you can't call us out for that.
I mean, you're a minority. You can say that.
I'm just saying, Ricky Gervais led a campaign about it. So
that's true.
So fuck you if you call me racist. Okay, it's not like I use a derogatory term. So I'm willing to bet someone was betting for me to make a mistake to make a derogatory term right then and there.
Probably.
They're like, is he?
Come on, say it. Something about the eyes.
Come on,
say
it. Do it.
I
talked to an old lady recently. Well, she wasn't old; she was mature, but she like said something about like Chinese people's eyes, and I was like, "Oh no, I remember where this was. So I can't blast it because like, I mean, I want to blast it, but I don't want to blast. But I will say, this was a dinner I was at with Lauren, and a bunch of these people started making like Chinese eyes jokes, and I'm just like, and I looked at Lauren, I'm like, and she knows them, and she's close to these people, and I'm like, do they know what they're saying? And she's like, I know, just we'll talk about it later, just let's let it go. And I'm like, okay, because they literally were like pulling their eyes back. And
oh my god!
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, thank God we're not in public. So I'm just like, this is a rough day. But what we just touched on was kind of like plot twists, and plot twists are an often used device.
Way to come back around.
Thank you. They are an often used device. I'm getting better at it. Characters commonly face internal battles with subconscious desires, such as romantic lust and the desire for petty revenge. In contrast, splatter fiction focuses on bizarre, alien evil to which the average viewer cannot easily relate. However, at times, the psychological horror and splatter subgenres overlap, such as the French horror film High Tension.
Fuck that movie.
Okay.
Fuck that movie.
No. I want to know why you hate it.
Okay, so when I first wanted to see this movie, like me and my dad were all excited to go see this movie, and then we get there and they're like, yeah, it's French, so it's gonna be subtitles. And my dad was just like, no, we're not gonna watch this movie. I don't want to. I'm not paying $15 to fucking read. And so I was like, fair enough.
Oh, I love your dad.
And so then I finally watched this movie, and okay, the twist doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Whatsoever.
I don't even.
I'm just spoiling it because fuck this movie. It doesn't deserve
let
as
me
much praise.
I want to look up what the summary of this movie is real quick.
Okay, and
listeners, I'm looking up this movie, so bear with me for a second here. So while we do that, I'm going to ask you, and I'm not going to hear what you're going to say, but pretend I can hear. How's your day going, listeners? Are you doing well?
I'm doing so great, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
Oh, that's good. Because you get on with the fucking episode now.
So, High Tension. A beautiful young French woman, Alex, travels out to the country to visit her family and brings along her friend, Mary. Soon after they get settled in the secluded home, Alex's parents are brutally attacked by a psychotic truck driver. And that's just kind of like what they have for the summary for it. So, I don't know if you want to add in more to that.
So, yeah. So, this entire time. And it's like, it's really good because she's even, like, there's, like, really cool, like, intense scenes. But so what the twist ends up being is that the fucking truck driver doesn't even fucking exist. And it's all her. She's split personalitied.
Oh.
So it makes no sense. Like, half the shit that happens with her. Like, it'd be totally different if, like, things that,
right.
Like, people died when she wasn't in the room. Like, she just left. Like, okay, so, like, if she left a room...
Right.
And then, like, the door got locked behind her or something like that. And the other person's like, no, let me in. Help me, let me out. And then all of a sudden, the, like, truck driver dude comes up behind that person and kills him because she, like, booked it around because of her schizophrenia. No! She literally has a fist fight with the fucking dude.
Oh, so it's, like, supposed to be, like, a metaphor of, like, fighting with her split personality or something like that?
No, I think they're just trying to be more artsy-fartsy than they fucking let on. Should have just been a straight... Either just go with the slasher flick, or just fuck that game. Fuck that movie.
Well, and I mean...
It just pisses me off.
So let's talk about things that are good with it on a different medium.
The only good thing in it is the blood. It's the only reason you'd watch it.
I mean,
she's kind of hot.
For that case, I might watch it for the gore.
That's it.
So, I might watch it for that.
There's, like, this badass scene, too, that she has this, like, buzzsaw, and she's gonna fucking axe someone, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's a fucking twist. It just fucking ruins everything. Fuck that movie. I had such high hopes for it.
I will say on another low-key level of a psychological horror film is The Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah, that scene.
If you watch that movie as a kid, there's a lot of, like, traumatizing scenes in that movie.
Well, fucking same with Home Alone. The furnace.
No, it's but I'm talking about funny enough, the air conditioner.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
when the air conditioner's blowing up and freaking the fuck, I was just like, what's going on? Toaster, no!
Like, that's the scene that freaks me out more. Not the car smashing scene, like...
No, it was the fucking air conditioner.
Yeah, just like, we got so mad, and I'm like, I don't know what I did. But funny enough, there's actually, when we're talking about psychological horror and the aspects behind it, another one that never really gets brought up is Silent Hill.
Video games.
Well, in the Silent Hill movie itself. So, like...
Video games.
But let's talk about video games. So, yeah, Dead Space, Fear, of Fatal Frame, Silent Hill, Siren, Resident Evil 7, Deadly Premonition, Amnesia, The Dark Descent, Alien Isolation... And then even Eternal Darkness and Cody's favorite, The Evil Within. Like,
okay, the second one's pretty good. I really like the second. I almost pooped myself.
You talked about it.
I know. We were talking. Fucking, I was playing it with you that one night when we were talking online. And you were like, "Hey, you want to play some Titanfall?" I was like, "I can't. I'm Evil Within, man. I'm like in this. I'm in the sewer. I can't use my fucking gun. There's these giant things everywhere. I can't see anything." And I just remember talking to you, and you were like trying to ask me a question at the time, and I'm not going to talk about what the subject was.
Okay.
But I just remember you're like, yeah. So how do you feel? I was like, motherfuck, and I threw my controller because fucking the only way you can kill things is like by sneaking up on him and like ganking him in the neck, and then fucking like I did it, but it didn't die, and it killed me in the fucking place. And I was just like, yeah, fuck this game, whatever. Hey, it's great. I love that game.
I was like, you don't have to be. I was just asking a question. I'm sorry. You don't have to be so mad about it. I mean, it's kind of interesting because like obviously we've done an episode on like horror and video games, which you should check out. It's real solid.
Way early in the.
We might do a follow up.
I think we should, especially with the horror, with the video game horror renaissance that we've had lately.
Yeah, I'd like to do that, and also follow up to our women in horror one, and see if we can get some more participants on that one. Maybe we can get some, not just our returning champion on here, but we can also get some other women of horror that we've made contacts with, and have them come give their perspective.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, talking about this,
I bet Billy Fuzzy Toes would actually like to come on for the video game one.
Oh yeah, I think Billy would love to.
Yeah.
Be a BFT.
Yeah, talking about later episodes.
Yeah, so
foreshadowing, just like in a psychological horror.
Here's the twist: it's been in our minds this entire time. This entire podcast has been in your minds.
It's like, so the twist is that it hasn't been recording the entire time. You just now tuned in. Fucking Inception. South Park.
That has been on your mind.
I love that episode.
But I think what's really cool about psychological horror is that it's also, I mean, there's a shit ton of video games that play off it as well. And the reason I say that is because it's kind of like crossing that bridge between two mediums of like people who only watch horror movies and people who only play video games and don't really do one or the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, because even like, I'm surprised one that wasn't really brought up was BioShock, which I would say the first one is more of a psychological horror.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely more tame than like Fatal Frame or Siren. But still very intense. I mean, it's just kind of really interesting that psychological horror films are this like, just in general psychological horror is this big, huge subgenre that we don't ever really pay attention to that gets our attention a lot. And I think there's something to be said there about that.
Yeah, well, I think it's mostly because like psychological horror is like one of those like overarching subgenres, like where it's tapped into like all the other subgenres also.
Right.
I mean, look at like what Halloween, the second Rob Zombie's second Halloween movie.
Oh,
I would definitely say that's more of a psychological than a slasher film.
Right, and that might be why you got a lot of hate.
Yeah, because like he definitely goes a lot more on the psychological side of it. And then what's another one?
So I mean, probably one.
Well, Saw's considered more torture porn, but
one that we've done a review for is Gerald's Game.
Yeah, that was definitely a fucking psychological. God damn.
Well, because I mean, if we think about it, like these movies usually get a lot of attention and usually like get a lot of praise, and it's like two things happen: is that people are either going to love or hate these movies on a more extreme scale. And I think the reason we hate psychological more is depending on the plot twist. So if it's just like a shit plot twist, like you were talking about with High Tension, that's understandable. But
Gerald's Game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would loved it until literally the last few minutes of that movie.
Well, but here's the things that I think with psychological horror, if the plot twist makes sense and we still hate it, I think for us it's hitting on something that generally made us uncomfortable throughout the entire film, and that we were hoping that would give better solace.
Yeah.
The entire time. I mean, like even Antichrist has been brought up.
Yeah.
And you did that one too. I mean.
That movie made Harrison very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Like, that was a good movie.
And then
even the movie Green Room.
Yeah, Green Room.
I did.
Orphan.
I did that movie.
Yeah, there's.
Oh my god, 10 Cloverfield Lane. That's one of the psychological horror movies that I love, but I always forget about.
It's a solid one,
dude. It's really fucking good. I will admit, the ending kind of cheeses a little too much.
Yeah, but I get why they tied it in the way they did.
Well, okay, I wouldn't have mind if they tied it in. It was more of like all of a sudden she's an uber badass and get the Molotov cocktail like a fucking MLB pitcher.
Right. Yeah, and I'm just like...
I was like, really? But you can't take care of John Goodman. Fucking asthmatic fatty. But you could fucking take down a giant alien. No.
Yeah.
That's where it lost me.
This is like, pick a lane. Pick a lane. Who are you?
Are you weak and getting better, or are you just like a subconscious badass and just wanted to wait till the right moment?
Like, they might as well have just been like, oh, hey, there happens to be this rocket launcher in the bed of the truck.
Yeah, that's basically like how it felt to me. I was just like, really? Come on.
Hey, there just happens to be this mech suit.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm a Gundam now.
And then it turns into like super Japanime style, like my father has died and now you shall die for my can blazing starlit sword slash. And then like it turns into like a shonen song, like we are fighters.
You know, I would have rather liked that. I would have liked that a lot more.
I'd probably be like, watch toward Cloverfield Lane and be on LSD the entire time.
And I was like, okay, for the first hour and 20 minutes, you need to be drunk and depressed. It just makes it so much better.
Right.
And then pause it, trip balls, and take a lot of uppers.
Yeah. Lick a
toad.
Then
lick a toad, and then it's just going to be fucking amazing. Be the best night of your life. Trust me.
And then, like, the mothership, like, actually transforms into, like, a robot, too, as well. And
like, we will decide the Earth's fate through a dance battle. The robot is not allowed. But we're literally in robots. Exactly.
And it's like John Goodman morphed with it, his character.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh my god. That was what's missing from it. That's in the extended version, the deleted scenes.
Yeah. That's what the Cloverfield paradox was actually trying to lead into. That it's just going to be giant mech battles.
Yeah, they're trying to bring back those mech battles, even though Pacific Rim is already doing it.
Yeah.
But now I want to make a re-edit of that movie.
It's just like, right when she sees the giant alien and has the Molotov cocktail, you just see John Boyega running around. No, wait! I got this.
No, wait, believe in yourself, believe in the heart of friendship.
Yeah, and then giant robots.
And then, like, she transforms, like Sailor Moon would transform and just be like, come on now, Katadawa. She's just like, like the herbal essence commercial flipping her hair. She gets a wand, and then, man, we made this movie 10 times better.
Yeah.
Or worse.
I think better.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think too.
That's Oscar worthy.
Can you see that speech?
And it's all narrated by Morgan Freeman.
And that's when she decided to transform into what she knew she was the entire time.
A giant 30-foot mech.
And because it's anime, they would have to, like, really sexualize the outfit and, like, give her unnaturally big breasts.
Yeah, she just gets, like, 3 sizes bigger.
Yeah, just like,
Then even her mech has giant tits, and she's like, this is not plausible. It
and
doesn't
then
matter.
those will have, like, rockets or lasers in them.
Yeah, beep, 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 beep. Oh my god.
Can you imagine if that, like, was the case and it was an Oscar and they were getting their award and they had to make their acceptance speech? Like, just, I want to thank the Academy and the directors and the producers and Funimation and Koei, and I want to thank you, my Gundam suit. Thank you, Gundam suit, for holding me just right. And you see a giant Gundam, like, in the seats, like...
Yeah, it's like wipes a tear.
Yeah, it's just like... You are welcome.
Like throws in, like just drowns half the rows, like behind it because it's a giant robot.
I am so proud. Wah, wah, wah.
And the Gundam just drowned the Kardashians, and then everyone wins.
Oh no! Why is the Gundam sparking? I was not programmed to feel. It blows up, and then Hollywood just becomes an entire crater.
That would be the greatest thing ever.
We need to go into the filmmaking business.
Seriously.
We'll give, like, Sharknado a run for its money. Oh my god. So, we really gotta bring it back to psychological horror, but I want to bring this up. Did you see that? I know you saw that. That Tommy Wiseau is doing.
Yeah, the shark movie. I'm so excited about this movie. Like, I really hope he just goes, no, not the shark.
Oh man, I'm hoping it's... You're tearing me apart, shark!
Oh my god, could you just... No, it's gonna be like eating his girlfriend and everything. She's like, no, you're tearing her apart!
You put her down, you bastard!
Yes. I'm so excited.
I did not see him eat her. He did not eat her. Oh, hi, shark.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited about that movie. I hope there's like a 5-minute montage of them like playing water polo, because there's like the football montage,
the
so
weird
there's water polo instead.
Yeah. Like, and like
splashing, and then a shark just comes up and eats one of them. He's like, no, Mark! I mean, shark!
Oh my god, Tommy Wiseau has gotten so fucking...
So good.
I can't decide when I really think that he's just so good at making bad movies that are amazing, to where he knows what he's doing or actually doesn't know what he's doing. Because, like, it's just such a weird, like, underdog story. The dude is a paradox.
I think it's a little bit of both. Because if you notice, like, when James Franco was accepting the Oscar, he did not let Tommy speak.
Yeah.
He's just like, no.
Yeah, no,
I talk. You don't talk.
But what if, like, James Franco was, like, in on it, though, like, now?
Okay, I could totally see James Franco and Seth Rogen actually in on it.
Yeah, what if Tommy Wiseau was just crazy and ballsy enough to, like, I'm going to make the most obscure character that I'm going to pretend to be for the rest of my life besides closed doors. How are you going to do it? Just trust me. Let's go into the film set. Oh, hi, Mark.
I did not hit her. I did not. Oh my god.
Anyways, bring it back.
Yeah, I'm excited for that movie.
Me too. So I think we have this weird pull to watch psychological horror, the things that make us feel uncomfortable in a different sense than why we just want to watch horror movies, which, yeah, it's for that adrenaline rush, but I think when we want to watch psychological is that it's more in this safe environment to make us face ourselves mentally, and to explore us mentally, and it brings this like really weird of like atmosphere of like it's gonna be uncomfortable and you're gonna feel weird about yourself.
Yeah, because I would definitely say like more times than not I'm gonna pick a slasher movie like over a psychological movie, mostly just because like, you know, slasher movies is kind of like my comfort zone. Right. And why as much as I do love psychological thrillers and psychological horror movies, like I don't want to feel like shit the entire time.
Yeah. No, like, I feel you.
Because when you think about it, because like when I was watching my movie, like I was, oh my god, like I was in, like the movie got me, and like I was hooked like from the beginning. But like at the same time, like the entire time, I was like feel like shit.
Yeah,
hits home. Like I have not seen a horror movie that actually hit home with me since I watched that movie.
Well, I think that's the case with psychological horror, is that we generally praise those movies a little bit more because it goes into a creative field that like slashers or like zombie flicks or like ghost flicks don't really go into as much. Where it's just diving into a person's psyche and making you have to face it. You know, it's not like what you see like on Dr. Phil or like you know those like reality shows who try to like counsel.
Yeah.
Like, you see someone counseling themselves through, like, the traumatization of what they're going through.
Well, I think it's also because of, like... Oh, god damn it, I totally lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
I hate my life.
I don't. Someone's got to say it. So, I mean I'm going to, but... Yeah, okay. I mean, if you can't think of
appreciate it. Well, I was saying is, like, when it comes... Oh, fucking... Because, okay, what... Comparing a psychological horror movie to like a zombie flick or slasher flick and stuff like that, like when it comes to psychological horror, you have to have a story.
Yeah.
Like, well, with those other movies, like, yeah, there's kind of a story, but it's just like teens have sex and get murdered.
Yeah.
You know, but
teens
like,
go to beach. Teens get murdered.
Yeah. Or like, don't go to sleep. He can kill you in your sleep. You know, but with the psychological horror, is like it has to tell a story, and it has to be. I feel like they're also a little bit more grounded and realistic. You know what I mean? Because, like, I can think about, like, A Quiet Place. Yeah, super out of, you know, it's not super realistic with the fact that it's, like, aliens.
Right.
And stuff, but at the same time, like, it doesn't, like, mess with its lore too much. It's just, like, you know, you have to stay quiet. And then, like, it's that real world, like, fear of, like, the entire movie's basically the girl trapped in the closet. with the killer standing right there. You know, in those movies, like those are the most intense scenes.
Right.
And so, like, I feel like that's where, like, it gets you, because everyone's, like, had that moment where they're trying to hide from someone, like, playing hide and seek, and you have to try and stay as quiet as you can.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like with psychological horrors, like, they're more relatable because they have to tell the story, and they actually need you to care about the character.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and it's also a movie, when they're writing it and they're making it, the mains really do have to justify the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And like, and because I know, like, it all relies on a good twist, but I feel like it's like what you were talking about with High Tension, is if they did better examples throughout the entire film, it would have made the plot twist would have made more sense. Yeah. Like, instead of her fighting the trucker.
Yep. Fuck that bitch.
So, like, you know, that, yeah, get it together. Become a super boobed up robot woman.
Tariwa! Une's gonna get it good.
We are fighting dreamers. Gotta get it, yes, get it.
Live fighting, live fighting, love. You know, out of all the episodes, this is the one that we decided to make it all Japanese. Like, out of every
you
other
think we would have done it for the video game one.
The video game one, the monster
one.
Movie one.
Yeah.
We haven't done an anime one.
Yeah,
animated.
Yeah, we did animated.
We didn't do anime.
Well, still, because but either way, we could have brought it up in animated too.
Nope.
Let's fighting love.
No, it's the psychological horror.
Let's fighting love.
Kick my balls. Oh my god, it's such a dumb episode.
Oh my god, sorry, I don't know why, but it's reminding me of the scene in Super Troopers 2, because I finally watched the movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
I like it. I thought it was really fucking funny.
Yeah, that's what Harrison said too, so I'll give it a watch.
So I was hoping we could watch it, because it's
for the
really
most part, I'll take Harrison's recommendations on comedies.
Yeah.
Not much else.
It is a funny ass movie. But there's a scene where, like, they're impersonating, like, French Canadian, like, officers, but, like, they're being very, like, over the top with the stereotype of it, and like, enchanté, it's a heavy cordon bleu, c'est fou. And so, like, they pull over two people, and they're just like, what was it like? The happiness is in the asshole, and they're just like, what did you just say? Like, the happiness. Oh, happiness. Yeah, is in the asshole. Oh, the what? Where you live. Oh, the household. It's way funnier than that, because it's a whole fucking skit, but it's just like, it was fucking funny, and like the way we're talking about like Japanese like anime songs,
which funny enough is like I've been getting back into Death Note, so it like totally relates, because like,
oh yeah, with their super like heavy like System of a Down-ish, Slipknot-ish like songs.
Yeah, with the like super high pitched fucking singer.
Yeah,
it's like I had to die. Yeah, I was just like, this doesn't make sense.
It's like, yes.
Yeah, I'm glad that Netflix has added the skip intro button.
Yeah. Still, the funniest part of that entire series is like in the first season when he's just
There's only one season.
Oh, is there only one season?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was more than one. Anyways,
no.
But it was early on.
They wanted another season.
Yeah,
but they didn't. Instead, we got the live action Netflix episode.
That went great.
Yep.
Everyone talks about that.
Everybody. You know, I'm still gonna watch it, and I'm gonna like blow it up on my Facebook. Like, I fucking love this movie. I know what you haters are talking about. Did you watch the anime? Yes. And the movie's so much better. The fact that Light is a white guy makes it so much better.
I can relate to it more.
Yeah. I just want to be like, just totally rip it into like, and I could just see Brant going, unfriend.
Yeah. Really push that friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, man, what I was going to say is like the funniest part still is like early on when he just gets the book. And he's like learning how to be really sneaky with it is when he's eating potato chips.
Yeah.
He's like, and as I write this name down and then vents the core, I'll just grab another chip. Yeah. And like it's really tense, focuses on the chip, and he eats it. And I'm just like, because I didn't realize how dumb it was until like Jenna pointed out to me how dumb that scene was to me. And I was like, it is kind of fucking stupid that they're getting intense about potato chips.
Oh, dude, just like, because like what I think is funny is that they have to like, because there's no action.
Yeah.
They have to like make other things super intense because it's just him writing names in a book.
Yeah, so
like,
potato chips.
I mean, like my favorite part is like whenever he actually thinks of something about the Death Note, and then the Shinigami is just like, oh, never thought about that. And even Light like looks at him and is like, this is your book. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, never thought about that.
To be fair, no one can see the Shinigami. It's not like he has to really work with any rules.
No. But I just, like I said, I just think it's really fun because like I was watching one of the episodes and it was like how Light figured out you can get someone to do exactly what you write in the book as long as it's feasible.
Yeah.
And the Shinigami was like, oh, I didn't know that. And even Light kind of like just looks at him and is like, what? Well, yeah, of course that's how it works. I'm literally writing how they die. And he's just
look, it's called Death Note, not make people do what you want. No.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, that's cool. I'm just saying. Like, I feel like if I was the Shinigami, that's exactly what I would do. I'd be like, just saying, all right? You know, the thousands of fucking years that have been alive and using this thing, no one ever thought about actually making someone, like, use their shit to write a fucking pentagram on the wall before they had a heart attack, you know?
Yeah, there's no fucking rule book to this. We kind of just make it up as we go. Sorry.
So, do you want to have my eyes yet so I can take half your life?
Yeah. Nope, you got any apples? Okay.
Alright, fine. Fuck you too, Kita.
Oh, man. Alrighty then. Well, we're at the end of this episode. So we talked a lot about like Japanime and psychological horror. If you have anything you want to add in, reach out to us on our Facebook, a Punk Rock Horror Podcast. You can search us up on the search bar, Punk Rock Horror Podcast, or on our Twitter @official PRHP, or
on Instagram, Punk Rock Horror Podcast, #PRHP Podcast.
If you want to support the show and be part of episodes before they come out before anyone else, and also be part of Anna's Half Hour Power, please go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/punkrockhorrorpodcast. You can find all these links below. If you want to send us your creepy stories or band info to come on for band showcase episodes, please send it into our email, punkrockhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram @TheUndeadMatt.
So yeah, and also Anna's episodes are now being released on Sunday.
Yep.
So you get it a day earlier.
Yeah. So
boom.
Again, think about it, everyone. You're getting at least 6 episodes a month.
Yeah.
So and you only have to pay for one of them.
Boom.
So and that's come on.
Yeah. We'll just we'll have to find our Gundams.
Yeah.
Let's fight in love. Let's fight in love. Podcast's over.
Podcast's over. Bye, everyone.
Bye.